Woo! Now it's time to solve for angles of a right triangle. Jenny, does that excite you, or are you? Nope. She is still napping, right, through all these dope math videos. Okay, so find theta. We're trying to find the angle. Not a side length this time, but an angle. All right? Now, some of you might be like, bro, I know what that hypotenuse is because I remember my triples. It's 13. That's not what this question's asking, though. All right? So let's stay focused. Find theta. Okay. So if I want theta, I'm looking at it from that angle, right? The 5 is my opposite side, and the 12 is my adjacent side, right? Okay. So if I'm thinking about that SOHCAHTOA life, right? You know, I'm looking at my tangent, right? That's my opposite over my adjacent. Tangent, opposite over adjacent. Now, what I've got here is tangent of an angle is equal to 5 over 12. Tangent of the angle is equal to 5 over 12. Okay. So let's see what we're working with here. I'm trying to get to theta, but that tangent function has got it in its grasps, if you will, right? I can't divide by tangent. Tangent's not a number, okay? It's a function, all right? But what I can use is what's called the inverse of tangent, inverse trig. If I take the tangent inverse on the left side, I got to do it to the right side as well. I'm going to write it like this, even though it's a little bit backwards. If I do tangent inverse on both sides, what that does is it undoes the tangent function. If I have multiplication and I divide, those are inverse operations. They undo each other. Addition and subtraction, those are inverse operations. They undo each other. Squaring and square rooting, inverse operations. They undo one another, right? So tangent inverse and tangent undo each other, and I'm left with theta equals tangent inverse of 5 over 12. Again, so that's really how it should be written there. I just didn't have room on the left-hand side. All right. So now you might be thinking like, hey, I've seen that little -1 thing there before on my dope TI-84 Plus graphing calculator, okay? And you would be correct that it is there. If I hit second, then tangent, and type in 5 divided by 12, this will find my angle that I'm looking for, theta, okay? Boom, 22.6198, so 22.62, 22.62. That is my theta for this particular problem, degrees. Woo! That is what I'm talking about. All right, I like it. Now, that first part, meaning this part right here, I wanted to show the algebra behind it of how you get theta by itself with the initial setup. Now, if you'd like, when you're trying to find an angle, if you're like, hey, when I find an angle or looking for an angle, I'm going to use inverse trig, you could, if you'd like, go right to this step right here and say, hey, man, I'm going to pick my trig function. I know it's inverse trig. Pop in that ratio, and boom, calculate my angle. So let's try that slight shortcut method here if I'm trying to find theta, which I did not write down. Now it's in orange, and that's exciting. Okay, so first off, what sides do I have? Well, I've got my adjacent side right here, which is next to the angle, right? And I've got my hypotenuse. Okay, so which one of SOHCAHTOA am I working with here? Well, that would be my cosine, because it's got the adjacent, the hypotenuse. All right, so if I want to find my angle, I can go straight to inverse trig, cosine inverse of my adjacent over my hypotenuse. That is not a 7. That'd be a 6 there. Boom. And I can type that in my lovely TI-84 Plus graphing calculator. Or maybe TI-83. I don't know, man. They both work. All right, so I'm going to hit second cosine, and it's going to be 7 over 16. Hit enter. Oops, I didn't close off my parentheses. Oh boy, I'm so sorry. In this situation, it actually didn't matter. But when we start doing some more complicated stuff, close those off. That's my bad. I'm apologizing. All right, I'm over it. Cool. So we get 64.0555. So 64.06 degrees for theta. Lovely. Awesome. All right, so let's jot something down real quick. If we're solving for sides, we're going to use regular trig. And if we're solving for angles, we're going to use inverse trig. All right? I would jot that down. I would Snapchat it, add it to your story, maybe into your highlights on the gram. I don't know everything, okay? So just write that down. That is important. When solving for sides, regular trig. When solving for angles, inverse trig. And then you will be money. You know what I'm saying, Jenny? That ain't funny. Woo! All right, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day.